I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, May the 19th. Well, we've had a good Thursday, had an active Thursday. Your fat cattle trade was pretty active. Your feeder cattle sales were higher than a week ago and continuing the upward trend through this week as we started out early in the week lower, but as people started gaining confidence that maybe this fat cattle deal had started to settle down a little bit and quit being quite so volatile, they got a little bit more confidence to get in there and start bidding on cattle up again, and actually ended the week going to have your feeder cattle mostly higher. But your board on Thursday was higher. Also live cattle futures, most of them steady to $1 higher. Feeder cattle contracts, with the exception of May, they were $1 to $2 higher. May was marginally higher. It's just basically trying to align itself with the cash market and the CME index. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central on Thursday afternoons at 142.61, and it's starting to settle down too, not too volatile either. And if you think about it, that's pretty much the market on an 800-pound steers there, somewhere between 142 and 143 on an average type deal. But if you get everything just right, it can go well up from there, and of course you get some oddballs that are going to sell quite a bit below that. But fats on Thursday started out in the Southern Plains like 133.50, had a few deals there, but then it quickly went to 134. Texas and Kansas is going to be predominantly 134. That's $4 lower than the previous week. I had a rare victory for the Fed Cattle Exchange. They didn't have a lot of cattle on there, but they did have sales up there in the 135 towards 6 range. So that was a good, like I said, rare victory for them, as they're going to sell the cattle that they had on there, which is only about 1,600 higher than what the bulk of your direct sales are going to be. In the Northern Plains, remember on Wednesday they had the bulk of the going to the majors at 210. Your regionals, which regionals is Greater Omaha, Nebraska beef, they were plucking the high quality, good grading cattle at 215. Ended up on Thursday having most of our sales at 212, predominantly in Iowa and in eastern Nebraska there. But a lot of that 212 was FOB or picked up at the feed yard for 212. Usually your dress sales are delivered to the plant for that, but so that could easily be 215 if you live quite a ways from the slaughter plant. So that's kind of a positive there late in the week on a direct sales, and then a lot of cattle selling that way. But you look at your feeder cattle. Like I said, the close on El Reno's market, you put Tuesday and Wednesday sales together, they had 17,000 feeder cattle and calves, mostly steady to $2 higher for your yearling feeders there at the close of the report. You can see that there on Beef Market Central. Dodge City's cattle were higher, not a lot of calves, but their feeder cattle $4 to $6 higher, as you see there on Beef Market Central report. Of course, they had to get a little bit higher than that because they had stiff losses to recover from a week ago, and had a lot of their yearlings quoted, $10 to $13 lower a week ago. So that's why they gained a little bit more ground. You see here on Thursday, Pratt, Kansas, the early call on that $2 to $5 higher, as they're selling their cattle pretty good. An individual quote out of Pratt had a load of steers at noon, weighed 865 at 149.50. Maybe more impressive was Bluegrass Stockyards in Stanford, Kentucky. 10 o'clock on Thursday morning had a load of 791-pound steers at 152. That's your feeder flash for Friday.